Welcome to College Football 411 Spring Practice Edition. I'm Michelle Steele. Spring football is in full gear, and today we take a look at the BCS championship contenders in each BCS conference and what the keys are for each of those teams next season. Our ESPN.com college football bloggers and writers have you covered, and we start with Chris Lowe in the SEC.
LSU was one game from perfection last season. Don't be surprised if the Tigers are knocking on that door again in 2012, and they'll do so with a much more balanced offense. Throwing the football and doing it consistently was a problem last season. Teams loaded up against their run late, and that's what cost the Tigers. Well, enter Zach Mettenberger in 2012. He can make every throw. He's got confidence. He's got that swagger. And by all accounts this spring, LSU threw the football with a lot more success than they have the last few years.
The Big Ten lacks a bona fide national title contender entering the season, but the three teams with the best chance to win the league, go on to the Rose Bowl, and perhaps play for more are in the Legends Division: Michigan, Michigan State, and right here at Nebraska. For Michigan State and Nebraska, it's about replacing star power, especially on the defensive side of the ball, whereas Michigan needs to get more consistent on the road and have Denard Robinson and that offense make strides in year two under Al Borges. Michigan and Michigan State both have big opportunities in week one to make some national statements against Alabama and Boise State.
Oregon or USC? USC or Oregon? You might as well be comparing high-powered apples to high-powered oranges, because both teams have legitimate claims to the national championship looking into the 2012 season. First, USC. Their starting 22 is as good as anybody in the country, but there's some depth issues at running back, wide receiver, and defensive line. And then Oregon still has to figure out who its quarterback is going to be. But I think that speaks to their consistency and talents, that they're coming into the season, and we're talking about them for a national championship, and they still don't know who's going to be running the offense.
Florida State wants to compete for a national title in 2012. They'll have to improve offensively. Quarterback E.J. Manuel is back for his senior season, and he returns his top 4 targets from last year along with him. But the Seminoles' troubles have been on the ground game. They were forced to start 4 true freshmen along the offensive line in a Champs Sports Bowl win over Notre Dame to close out the 2011 season. Do a better job of avoiding 3 and outs, extending drives on the ground, and giving the number 4 defense from a year ago a couple of breathers, and they could go a long way toward fulfilling expectations in 2012.
With nearly every Big East team halfway done with spring practice, I still think Louisville remains one of the favorites to win this conference championship. The development of quarterback Teddy Bridgewater is going to be a huge key. He cannot have a sophomore slump, and so far this spring, he's looked really sharp, really taken another step in his development. Offensive coordinator Sean Watson singled him out in particular for his performance in the lone scrimmage this spring. Some depth is being worked out nicely at the running back position, but still Louisville needs to find a go-to back and has to answer some questions at linebacker and in the secondary.
Big title contender in the Big 12, pretty easy. It's Oklahoma, the team that plays on this field. The Sooners not quite a heavy favorite in the Big 12 like they were last year, but certainly with so much returning talent. Landry Jones, Kenny Stills, guys like Tony Jefferson, the Big 12 freshman of the year in 2010. Sooners will be pretty formidable, and some nice pieces too in receiver Trey McGuire, guy you got to watch out for. But the Sooners, definitely the one to watch in the Big 12.
Thanks, guys. Now, for all your spring practice coverage, keep it right here, ESPN.com. We'll see you next week for another edition of College Football 411 Spring Practice Edition. As always, I'm Michelle Steele.